to recap what happened in our last session, our group of adventurers was heading south through the Tilgi Forest on their way to the town of Riddock with Kinney in tow in hopes that they could find a new home for her or just to explore the town of Riddock on their way to Vaku's Peak, which Felix, in a dream that he had, said that there was some clouds coming from it. That's where the big blizzard that recently was here was seemed to be emanating from. And you all were traveling south. You met the Rongel family, saved them from this bugbear that said he was talking, or if he was asking if y'all were with Gatch. Later, you heard from Ron Rongel himself that Gatch may be referring to the Gatch brothers, who are some troublemakers within these woods. But you saved them from some zombified centipedes, found a green orb on him, an orb with green liquid, and now you are just about to make it to Riddock. So, Alden, can you please make 2 perception rolls for me? These are kind of delayed perception rolls for throughout the whole day.
Yeah. Alright, there's 1. I don't even know what I got. It was very laggy. It'll show me in the 7. Alright, off to a great start.
With those 2 rolls, you've noticed that it's kind of windy today. Not particularly windy, just, throughout the whole day. It's something that's crossed your mind about how there's been kind of a gust or 2 that has been particularly bad throughout the day, but it's just been generally windier today for some reason. But you're walking along. Felix says that you are getting close to Riddock, and you hear Kinney beside you gasp and point up to the sky and say, oh, it's the burst! It's the burst! And she's pointing up, and as you look up, you see some people high up in the air, probably about a mile in the distance. Some people in the air in parachutes.
What the what?
Floating down to the ground. I'd say there's probably about 2 or 3 of them. As Kinney is exclaiming, she says that it's the burst. Oh, can we go on it?
I don't want to pretend like I don't know what the burst is. But like I don't want to give away that I don't know what the burst is, so I'm gonna kind of like, I don't know, lie and just say, oh really? Go ahead, tell me about it. Like when someone's like, oh really? Yeah. What's your girlfriend like? Yeah. But less smarmy and more just kind of like, oh really? Well, what was it like? What did you think?
Kenny says to your question, she says, it's this big cannon. You go up all these stairs and you get inside of it, and it's going to. You stand inside of it, and it shoots you up into the sky. And I did it with my parents. It's so fun. Can we please go?
Oh, quick question: has the other group already played for this session?
You are playing first, so whatever you do, I'm gonna have to act it out in the session that I have with them.
And I gotta be meta then and like do something stupid as hell, and then get to yeah.
Oh, please do. But can you make a perception check for me as Kenny's saying all this, just to see what your fellow party members seem to look like as they're saying this?
Yeah, fucking anything. Well, no, because now I'm gonna get like a 5, not anything, but anything in the double digits. Damn. Okay. Wow. Wow.
Even with that roll, no one knows what on earth this is. You're looking around, and even looking to Felix, who knows how to get to Redock. Felix has no idea, seemingly, what on earth the burst is, just as surprised as you are.
Just besides the entire idea of a massive cannon existing that launches people, apparently safely. Uh, Felix grew up in the woods, right? He's never. I mean, I imagine he's been to some towns, but
Yeah, you get the sense that he hasn't really been out of the woods as much. He has his cave deep within the Tolgi forest that he stays in. So that's the sense that you get.
okay. So he hasn't, as far as I can tell, he hasn't been to any big town like this. Okay. In that case, then I'm gonna go. Oh yes, the burst of Riddick. Well, don't you know, Felix? Every town has one. There's a burst in every town. I have fond memories of going with my father and using a levitation magic to stay up in the air just a little bit longer.
Yeah, everyone is like, for sure, dude. Yeah, you know about the burst, but they don't seem to think that you've actually seen the burst in other places.
So like the only normal, yeah, only way to react really.
Well, after Kenny says all this, you all are continuing to go through the Tilgy Forest, probably for about a minute or two before the trees start to thin out and you turn around one particularly large tree. And in front of you, you see this large field, probably this field that's like, I'd say, a third to a half a mile long in front of you. And in front of you, you see this long wall stretching left and right. There's, the wall is probably 30 feet tall. There are towers, two towers in front of you, but a tower all the way to the left and all the way to the right of you that are probably 60 feet tall, all made out of stone. But it's just this huge open field. The grass isn't too tall, but it is, uh, it's kind of well trimmed. It's this massive thing as the edge of the forest kind of stretches to the left and the right of you. To your right, you see that there appears to be some water or, a lake to your right, and to your left, there's just more trees as the field kind of extends throughout the entire length of the wall that you see in front of you. As you are going around this tree and you see this field in front of you and you're surveying it, you hear a big sound from in front of you. You hear this giant, like a huge air compression sound.
A big potato cannon.
And you see just 3 or 4 figures shoot up into the sky at a rapid pace, probably about, a mile in front of you. And then they as they reach their apex, these parachutes come out and they start to slowly float back down.
What the hell? Who thought of this? What the fuck?
Hey, this is the redoc, baby. This is the burst. As you continue to walk through this field the towards the two towers in front of you, as you're walking through, as you get closer, probably maybe about 100, 200 feet before you reach the wall, you don't even need a perception check for this. You notice that there starts to be these splotches of blood within the field, like something has died here at some point. It's obviously not fresh blood, it's kind of dried out in some sense, but it would have probably not been here for a long time, looking at it just kind of briefly. But as you're walking up, you notice that in between the two towers that were in front of you, there is a large wooden door with one man standing in front of it with this leather armor on. It looks to appear to be a guard. As you're walking up, once you're about, I'd say like 20 or 30 feet away from the guard, he's been watching you approach this whole time. Suddenly he raises his hand and he says, "Halt there! The Reaver Council has decreed that the city is in a state of lockdown. So if you would like to enter the city, I'm going to need your names and a reason for why you are here." And do you say anything to that?
Nah, I'm kind of keeping silent in the back. None of the people in our group are exceptionally charismatic, but I think I'm a little suspicious of the blood. I imagine it's like monster attacks, but I'm just gonna kind of keep my mouth shut and chime in. I really just want to get. I really just want to get into the town so I can ditch this group. Honestly, in my head, I'm thinking these guys are so fucking weird. I just want to get inside the town, fucking ditch these bozos and that little girl, carve out a little area where I can set up shop and scan some kitties out of the carpet. Right? Yeah, Alden's true colors. They're 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 yeah, they're making me fucking look bad. All right, high and mighty with all this magic they can do. They can pull out of their ass. Yeah, they don't know. They don't know what real magic looks like. All right.
And as he asked for names, some of your party members start to say their names, and it gets to you. What name do you say?
I say, yeah, I am Alden the Amazing, Wizard Extraordinaire.
He's writing them down, and he doesn't really seem to flinch at you saying Alden the Amazing. And he looks up and he says, "And why are you all here? Do you say anything?"
I think I'd let one of the others answer honestly, because again, Alden is just kind of thinking he wants to get away from these people, so his mind isn't really on the actual mission. It's more on I don't just as I don't remember the details. Thinks Alden. I'm gonna let somebody else say something because you know he'll just help us get through faster.
One way or the other, the others, I will say, mention that they are trying to find a home for Kinney, and they point to Kinney. And I'd like you to I'd like to ask you to make a perception check to see how the guard reacts to that information.
Yeah, I'm curious to see if there's been a big influx of orphans due to the monster attacks. 11. Yeah. Yeah.
The guard doesn't seem too surprised or phased as you would expect from hearing that they're trying to find a home for Kenny. He doesn't. He looks to her and has his face kind of softens a little bit, but he doesn't seem too surprised by that information. As the guard looks at Kenny, he kind of approaches a little bit, so he's a few feet in front of her and squats down, and instead of his big halt voice, his voice kind of softens, and he says, "And what's your name, little one?" And she says, my name's Kenny." And he says, "Oh, I need to get everybody's name. So what is their name?" And he gestures to the little bear Biggie that Kenny is holding in her arms. And she kind of brightens up and she says, "Oh, this is Biggie." And he says, "Ah, Biggie, that's a nice name. Well," and he reaches into a pouch that is at his side. He kind of rummages for a second, then he pulls out what looks to be a little tiny stuffed animal, much smaller than Biggie, but it's would probably fit inside the palm of your hand. And he says, "Do you think that Biggie would like a friend?" And Kenny says, "Oh, yes, yes, yes." And Kenny already reaches and kind of takes it from him, and they start, playing. And the guard says, I know it's not as big as Biggie." And Kenny kind of interrupts him and is like, "Oh, I'll name him Smalley."
She's a bright one, I tells you. She's a bright one. Yep.
"Smalley, well, that is a nice name. Well, why don't you have Smalley and Biggie introduce themselves, and I will talk to your caregivers." And at this point, Kenny is just not paying attention at all. She's already playing with her new toy, basically. And the guard kind of gestures for you all to step aside for some feet to have some privacy. And he says to you all, now, I just want to thank you for taking care of this poor child. When you've been in the job as long as I've unfortunately seen way too many abandoned children, some without people looking over them like you, so I'd like to thank you for that. You say her name is Kinney? And the group kind of responds with yes. He says, well, there may be some hope. There is a a man that I check in sometimes. He's blind and alone within his house. He talks of a niece named Kinney. Now, I know this is a long shot, and I would love to double check everything after my shift ends today, but I would like to see if possibly this may be the Kinney that he is referring to. But I do not want, I want to stress that I want what is best for her. And he kind of looks over to her. I have seen too many relatives take not good care of these lost children. So I would like to see if that this uncle, he can barely take care of himself. I want to see if he has any relatives that maybe could watch over Kinney. So that will take me some time. So if you all are new to the city, yes? And you all kind of nod their heads. Well, I would recommend sleeping at the Sleepy Inn. And if you all are there and swing by there, it's not too far into the town. I'll be able to meet you all in the morning with more info about whether this is a possible relative.
Well, now I'm curious because I want to ask the guy. Like this makes me perk up because now I'm just sort of curious. Because if we know, well, actually, we don't know Kenny's parents' name, do we? Or as they have we had it mentioned? God, I'm mincing my words. Has their name been mentioned at all, like in our travels thus far?
Turlin does know Kenny's dad's name, but you were either not paying attention or don't know that information.
Well, then Alden definitely doesn't know, but he wants to, because maybe if the uncles mentioned the father or the mother's name at any point, it could be a match. So I'm just gonna ask the group. Has anyone learned the name of Kenny's parents? Does anyone know the name?
I'll say that Turlon does say the name of Kenny's dad, and the guard kind of squints at this information and says, well, thank you. That will be very useful information. I will see if this man that I've checked on is indeed has a relative of that name. But again, I would like you all to go on in. I'd imagine that the burst will be open for just an hour or so longer, so if you all would like to enjoy that, it's a big attraction in town. But yes, please go on your way, and again, I will look for you all at the Sleepy Inn in the morning with more information.
I do have. Oh, this is gonna come across as so bad. I'm gonna regret this, but it's in character. Alden sucks. Uh, Taking this, I also want to ask. If we're gonna leave Kenny here, I'm concerned about her well-being and how she's going to grow up. Are there any good schools around here in the area? Particularly those that of the magic kind, arguably, or the non-magic variety.
The guard kind of looks at you and says, there are normal schools sanctioned by the council and things, things of that nature, but no, there are no magical schools. Those are in larger cities that are around here, but not in this town.
Okay, good. Oh, okay, interesting. Oh, it can't be helped. But yeah, a regular school will do just fine. Can I get the name of a few so I can check them out myself, and you don't have to think of anything like specifically. Just
Yeah, I will send the names of some of those later, but the guard says a few that are in northern Riddock, some schools. So the guard, now that you're done talking with him, the guard goes over and does a very secret, complex knock onto the front door, and then the door opens from within with a very loud creaking noise. As you all enter Riddock, you are standing in the middle of this 100-foot wide path that just goes on in front of you. And in most towns or cities that all of you have been in, most buildings are kind of run parallel with the street. That is not the case in Riddock. Riddock appears to buildings are just at all sorts of angles along the side. There's big and small. They all have this kind of dull reddish brownish paint to them. They don't really stand out from one another. Some are one or two stories tall. A couple are maybe three or four, but generally all of them are very low. These brown reddish buildings, and these appear to be painted that way in these different shades. All of the buildings appear to be made out of the same kind of wood, but just painted these various shades for some reason. And as you look on this path in front of you, people appear to be paying you no mind. There are carts that are going by and people just milling around and talking. And now that you've actually entered the town through these thick stone walls, you can actually hear that this is quite a vibrant time of day. There are people milling around and it's quite loud at times. It's a very bustling town, even on the edge of the town where you all have just entered. This obviously doesn't appear to be a very big main entrance.
I cannot fathom how big the cities are actually going to be if this is a town.
Yeah, as you're looking around and just thinking about just how chaotic the structure of this town looks like, you notice that just appearing at like the corner of all of these buildings, there are these poles with a whole bunch of signs kind of nailed to them that are pointing in various directions, like those directional poles. That you see around sometimes where it's like, oh, this, 500 feet this way, this like a mile that way. And these sign poles are just throughout Riddock. So it appears that people navigate their way. If you know where you're going, you don't need to look at them. But if you have no idea where you're going, these would be the best way to navigate around the town if you know where you're trying to go to.
Oh my god, I want to talk to the urban planner in charge.
But as you're looking around, probably about 100 feet in front of you, you see that there is probably a large 20 to 30 foot square slab just sticking out of the ground. And on it, you see painted a map of Riddock, which is the map that you are looking at right now. And you see that there's a man on a ladder at the top right of the map, seemingly working on it in some way.
Um, I mean, I feel like I've been to big cities before, but I want to look at the map and see if there's any points of interest to me. Um, and I mean, I imagine the map just that's there is the same one that's in front of me.
And as you are looking at the map, you see that the same labels that you see on this map for, these different points of interest are the same labels that are on this map. For some reason, these places have been expressly pointed out.
Okay, well, I'll be honest. The first two that stand out to me is the Shadow Room, because that sounds like some occult magic shit that'll help me out, and Joy Mates, which sounds like a place where I can drain my wand, so to speak. Um, Cast my wand. So I'd like to sneak off to that side of the town, if possible. Like that's where I'm planning on going when I ditch the. On the other side, I just take a. I'll just take a quick look See if there's anything else. The bully ring sounds interesting. Hibernation station. No iron blacksmith. All right, that's funny. Um, more than bait. That sounds. And ooh, the tinsel luck sound cool too. So those are kind of like my 3 points of interest.
So as you are looking at this map, you're planning to leave the group. How do you do it?
Well, I mean, I imagine that they'll be like saying they'll be talking, discussing where do you guys want to go first, and we'll all be looking at the map. So I'm gonna wait for them to make a decision on where they're going, and I'll be like, yes, so sounds like a great idea. Indeed, I'd like to check out X, Y, and Z. But first, I need to go drain my potion, so to speak, and I want to go look for a bathroom. Uh, and I don't know. I'd have to make like some sort of deception check because this is like me just leaving. I imagine. Uh, so I'm just gonna tell that to like whoever, Turlin, Vita, Felix, the group, and then say, excuse me a moment, I need to go drain my tankard. And let me do a perception roll. With fucking +0. I might use a hero point for this.
If you do use a hero point, then you have to take the new roll.
Okay, I do. Well, 10 is like half. That's nothing. Yep. Oh, imagine an nat 20 right now. Wouldn't that be something? It's pretty damn. That's pretty damn close. Untrained charisma 0. Let's go. That was worth it. I don't care. It's gonna come to bite me in the ass, but all right.
Everyone hears this and is like, okay, yeah, this guy's weird. Yeah, sure, he needs to drain his potion. Okay, but they say to you, yeah, well, we'll see you later at the Sleepy Inn.
Yeah, all right, I'll be there. Yep. And I run. I like do a PP run. You know what I mean? Like where you gotta like really use the bathroom. Like um, and I don't know, wherever I end up, I actually do use the bathroom, and all you see from like the street, if you do see a guy, he finds like I find like a nice alleyway or somewhere, and I just lift like my skirt up and just hold it up, face away, so anyone walking by just sees that. It's really stupid. Anyway,
After you are done relieving yourself, you hear again from behind you. You hear this whoo sound in the distance, much closer now, but it is not as loud as you would expect. Now that you've gotten louder, but if you are closer to Riddick, sorry, but as if you look at towards the direction of the noise, you again see people, say 6 people, fly into the air, and then at the apex, these parachutes deploy and start to float to the ground.
I know. Well, I was going to say, how the fuck does that work? And how long does it operate? It's 24/7. I bet the people here go nuts. Uh, well, I'll make my way eventually because it is interesting. But
Yeah, that's the burst, baby. But where do you want to go first?
I have 6 gold on me. I don't know if I can really buy shit. Plus, I have 10 technically, but maybe I can work my thievery magic into the shadow room, or my conversation magic. So I'd like to go there first and see if there's any artifacts, trinkets that would empower me. That I definitely will not be able to afford.
All right, so the shadow room is about a mile away. That's not too bad. As you're walking, this again, there are people dressed in very simple clothes. They're from every kind of ancestry that you can see. There doesn't appear to be any dominant ancestor or predominant ancestry in the city. It's every kind of person that you can think of, but they're all dressed in very simple clothes. Again, the buildings are all this reddish brown painted color, very interestingly. And people are walking up down the road with carts. There's some vendors that are by the side of the road trying to sell various things. But as you are walking along, you something catches your eye. You see that there appears to be a woman on the side of the street wearing a simple blue cloak with some, kind of white spots throughout the cloak, and it has a sign right next to her that says "Card tricks, 1 copper."
Oh, wow. Competition. This isn't gonna be good if I want to set up shop here. Can't have anybody taking over my turf. Uh, I'll play her game. And I walk up to her and I say, "Hello, how are you? How you doing?"
As you approach and speak with her, she looks up with delight in her eyes, like surprised that someone is speaking to her, and she pulls down her hood and reveals some scruffy blonde hair, and she says, "Oh, what? Hello, sir. I see that you are dressed like a wizard yourself. Do you know any magic?"
Oh, perhaps. Are you a purveyor of illusionary magic? My name is Alden the Great, and it's one of my many schools of study, but perhaps my favorite. It's personally my favorite. And card tricks. Oh boy, do I love a good card trick.
Ooh, so you have seen many. Do you know of any?
Oh, just a tad. I'd love to see your work. Perhaps we could compare.
Well, okay. Well, that'll be 1 copper.
Do you have any change? I have 2 silver.
You can see that she kind of hesitates for a second, uh, kind of looking down to her bottom left for a second, and she says, well, I do, but uh, don't you just want to see 10 card tricks?"
No. As much as I love them, no.
She says, "Well, I'll tell you what. Instead of just showing you card tricks, we can play a little game. If you know what card trick I am doing when I do it, whatever you pay me, I'll pay you back double. But if you don't know what card trick I'm doing, then you pay me double."
Holy shit. Really? You should, alright, can I at least, like, yeah, but I also know my wallet's not that thick. No, I don't, I shouldn't, I said I wasn't gonna do that anymore. No, I say that. How about this? Alright, I'm game, Just, I'd like to exchange copper before I invest the silver.
Again, she's hesitant at this, but she reaches into a small leather pouch on her side and hands over 10 copper for the 1 silver. But you can tell by the way that she grabs it, there's probably not much else that was in that pouch besides the 10 copper she's giving you.
This is so fucking pathetic. Yeah, funny. All right. Let's start with 2 copper.
In her hand is what looks to be a deck of cards, and she starts shuffling them.
And with this, whatever card she has out on the table, I'm not gonna pick it up. I just from a glance, I'd like to see if they're marked in any way, like mine, like marked cards for trips and things like that.
Make a perception check for me.
I don't. It's not in the. It's not in the actual like Pathfinder. It's not in this thing, Foundry. But there's something to do with the marked cards. They're their own item. I just can't find them. It seems.
From what you can tell, these are completely plain cards, from what you can see. And as she is shuffling, she starts to do some fancier shuffles, not just like rummaging around shuffles, but they're spewing out of her hand into her other hand, and she's okay at it. She's doing around some shuffling, and she fans them out in front of you, and she says, "Well, pick a card, any card." And you pick a card, and she then gets put back in the deck, and she starts doing some more shuffling. I'd like you to make a perception check while she is doing that.
I need to do a perception check right now. Sorry. Okay, I thought you were making like a joke about the convinced. Oh, I don't know. My mind's fucked. Holy shit. Oh, thank God.
Well, she rolled a natural 2 on her performance check. So what you see is she does some basic shuffles, and as you are kind of keeping track of where your card should be, you can clearly see that at one point during the shuffles, she puts a card from the bottom of the deck and puts it into her sleeve. And she does a couple more shuffles, and then she shows you the deck and points to the top of it and says, "Is this top card your card?"
Uh, I would just fucking embarrass her then. I'd be like, no, it's the one in your sleeve right there.
She kind of looks a little embarrassed, and she says, no, that is just a spare card that I have."
I'd like to see it.
She kind of slowly pulls it out and shows it to you.
It's my card. Yeah. Oh, wow. Yep. Here it is. Same one.
She says, well, uh, I don't have any more copper to give you. That was everything I had. So, can I have the copper back that you gave me so I can pay you for your piece?"
Oh no! How much of a scumbag do I really want to be right now? I can't help it if you suck at your card tricks, but here, how about this? I'll give you half of your copper back. And then, all right, I have a deal. I spell profit. Now, I was going to kick you out and run you out of town because this is my turf, and frankly, your card tricks are sloppy. Honestly, it's an amateur card trick. It's really easy to do, and the fact that you fucked it up is pretty embarrassing. But, how old does she look? Does she look younger or older? Is she
She looks to
like
be like in her 40s.
40s? Holy shit, she's a bigger loser than me. I thought she was like young, like like an upstart. You know what I mean? Like bright eyed. Okay. Oh shit. Well, I feel. I still feel bad because who's 40 years old doing card tricks for a living? Alden, and that makes me feel bad because Alden sucks. Anyway, but how about this? All right, I'm going to teach you how to do some pretty technical illusionary magic on magic spells. And with that knowledge, I want you to set up shop near school where you can scam kids, and I want you to give me 50% of the profits at the end of every week.
Um, okay. Can I see the trick first, please? She kind of looks like astonished, but you get the sense she is only agreeing because she needs more card tricks. She doesn't really know that many.
Yes, yes, of course. Don't worry, it's a simple trick. I'll show you. And oh god, I wish I had the. I like find Pathfinder 2E marked cards because there's some specifics to it. Yeah. Yeah. Here it is. Um, realizing that cards are marked requires a DC 25 perception check or a DC 20. I don't know if this is right. No, it is. Um, no, but there was more to it than that. I'm sorry. Uh, I, dude, I smell profit. Alden's like Scam Artist Empire. Oh, okay. Um, Here we go. This is what I'm talking about. Yeah. A deck of marked playing cards appears to be an ordinary deck upon initial inspection, but there are specific folds, colors, scratches, or other markings on each card that allows an informed user to know what's on the other side of that card. A deck of marked cards grants you a +1 item bonus to game's lore checks or other relevant checks to gamble. You can determine that an unattended deck of cards is marked with a successful DC 20 perception check. Determining if the deck of marked cards during play is more difficult and is typically determined by a perception check against the dealer's games lore or theory. I do not have a games lore thing. But anyway, the point is that it gives me a +1 item bonus to relevant checks to gamble with the card. So in this case, DM, do you think like card tricks that I'm already kind of savvy with are I could add that +1 to it? Okay. Well, I unfortunately in real life don't know a single goddamn playing card trick. So I'll have to do my research to like really get into the character. But I want to do that like one where it's like literally just fan out the card deck and you go pick a card, any card. How about this? I'm gonna do the exact same. No, that'd be really dumb because then she'd know the tell. Yeah, the exact same one, and just do it better. Uh, yeah. How about that then? I want to do the exact same trick, but like do it in a way that it seems different and add some flair to it. And yeah, I'll use my cards. I'll use my cards.
So yes, you'll get a +1 to this roll because you're using your cards.
I'm going to yeah, I'm going to teach you this trick, and if you get it right, I'll give you your copper back in exchange for the silver. And then I'll also tell you how I did it. And then we have a deal, yes?
Yes, I'm fine with you teaching this trick, yes.
Okay. In that case, I have a +5 to checks that involve games. +1 if I use the cards. Okay. So okay. So here we go. Oh, that one.
Fucking nat 20.
Yes. Yes. That is. The multi-marketing scheme starts here.
You performed the craziest fucking card trick. it is indistinguishable from the original one that she did. You are in like a flow state, like in in soul. You are having an out of body experience as you do these incredible shuffles and movements of cards that you've never even done yourself, but it's just incredible.
I'm just imagining that Drake's dumb fucking face right now as I. He's always my motivator for these crits, dude. Always, always, always.
as Drank's face is within your mind, you look at her and she is just in utter shock. It's just whatever you just did is leagues better than what she thought was possible. As you finish the trick, you hold out the deck and point to the top and says, "Is this your card?" And she says, "I, I, I, I don't know. I, I really don't."
And then, I reach to her ear and I say, "Well, here it is." And as I do that, I just pretend to pull the card out from behind her ear, and then just hold it in front of her face with a big old grin. And I say, "Am I not amazing? Is this all the illusion magic that you've dreamed of?"
Yes, that was amazing. That was amazing. You are amazing. What? How? Oh my, oh my God.
Oh, this is such a power fantasy. All are welcomed into the school of Alden the Amazing. You are my first student. You have the honor. This is such a fucking creepy power fantasy. Anyway, yeah, I show her the ropes. I show her like, okay, let me break this shit down for you, so we can start rolling in those big bucks. And I'm gonna like show her my cards, like how they're marked. I'm gonna show her kind of like step by step what I did to really hide it, and then I go like, and let me just get something straight with you. Some whack magician will come by and tell you this isn't really magic. Well, they're wrong. They don't know the damn thing. I've studied in schools. I come from a great family. I've studied in schools for all my life. I know what magic is, and I can do it. All right? You hear me? This is my magic. All right? So anyone who comes by and says, that's just, it's an illusion. Oh, it's just a card trick. Oh, it's something special. They're fucking wrong. This is magic. Okay? Got that shit? What's your name? What the fuck is your name? I want to know your name right now.
Amelia.
Amelia? Alright, you work for me now, alright? Alden the Amazing, Amelia. Alright, that's great branding. AAA. Uh,
You want me to go to a school?
yes. Those dumb kids, super fucking gullible, especially if they're not at an actual magic school. Alright? I want you to set up shop there, practice the card tricks, charge the one copper thing, just keep that going, alright? At the end of the week, I'm gonna come in, and how about I do you one better? I said 50%, how about 45%? I'm on 45% of all the profits.
Okay, thank you. Yes, I'll do that.
Awesome. Alright. Now I got one school in mind. I'm just gonna go with the one that the guard told me about, because that's the only one that I know. Set up shop there. I'll check on you at the end of the. How about in 2 days? I'll come by, see how you doing. If it sucks, pull out of the deal. Clearly, you're not worth my time.
I'll do great. I'll be perfect, I promise.
You better be. You're the school of amazing now. That's all you gotta be. And then I say, oh shit. All right. Yeah, yes, you're all welcome to my tutelage. I'm glad I was able to help. I will check on you in a matter of 48 hours, and we'll discuss your next step in training.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I will see you.
Fantastic! I'm on my way to the shadow room. I'll see you later. And thank you for the content. Thank you for the fun times.
Uh, at the mention of the shadow room, her face kind of changes. She says, as you're kind of walking off a little bit, she says, you said you were going to the shadow room?
Yes.
Oh, I was going to say to be safe, but clearly you really are amazing, and you know what you're doing. So if you're going to the shadow room, don't mind me, sir. Sorry, never mind.
Oh my god. Oh, what a fucking ego stroke. Uh, yes, this card trick is only a modicum of my power. Whatever's in front of me, ooh, I can handle it just fine. And in my head, I start fucking going, oh shit. What is the shadow room? Okay. Trying to figure out how to play Alden. Should I have him like truly believe he's like a powerful wizard? I think not. I think he just tells people that he knows he's not. Uh, yeah, just oh fuck the shadow. Oh fuck. All right, maybe not. Okay. And then yes, and then I say goodbye.
You head off down the street. As you're walking towards the general area of the shadow room, do you look for anything in specific?
Do a bit more cautiously, and I'm trying to like get a gist in the surroundings now. Like, am I in a shitty part of town, or is it like that?
Can you make a perception check for me?
Yeah, it's like been my main role. That is so stupid. Yeah, and then a nat one on perception.
With a natural fucking one, you can't really tell what this part of the town is like. There's a lot of people sitting on the side of the street, but to you they could be just kind of chillaxing there, and it's not the worst place you've ever seen. There's not trash everywhere, so it doesn't look awful. You're just in a town.
Uh, Alden's ego is just super, super inflated right now, so he's not really thinking like. I mean, he's still like a little weasel, but for the most part, he's like, "Yeah, I did that. Yep, me. Uh huh." So he's just kind of making his way to the shadow room. God, fucking drank. If you could see me now, I got a business. Fucking stupid parents say I'll never amount to anything. Yeah, who has a business? Not that.
As you are walking towards the kind of the general area of the shadow room, you are getting closer. You know, the sun is getting low in the sky, setting in the west. It's kind of, later in the afternoon, getting to evening time now. And you see one of these directional sign poles kind of stands out because one of the arrows is this dark blackish gray wood that is carved from it, and carved in the surface, not painted like the rest of the arrows, but carved in. You see shadow room is carved in, and you can tell that this wood is not painted like the rest of everything that you've seen. It just genuinely is this darkish gray wood, but it is pointing in between the buildings to the east. You see that it's pointing deeper within the buildings.
Well, it's kind of what I expected just from the name. Like it's more cultish than mainstream magic. And I know magic, but I'm not very wise, kind of stupid in that regard. So I'm just gonna be like, well, I'm sure it's fine. It wouldn't be in the city if it wasn't safe.
As you start to travel in between these buildings, kind of following these directional signs every 100 feet or so, you can. It's starting to get a lot quieter. The street that you are on, you could you could kind of rest assured that there was always noise, but seemingly, even though you are in a town, you should be hearing distant noises anyway. It's getting a lot quieter. There's not many people around. It's getting less and less people as you get closer and closer. And it's kind of reached a point where it is just, big, uh, this big, heavy silence is upon you, as all you can hear are your footsteps and your breathing as you're walking. And
Okay.
as it's dead silent, from behind you, you hear this big whoo sound, which you recognize to be the burst once again going off.
Clearly didn't pee enough earlier because a little bit just came out.
Yeah, after you're startled a little bit and you take one final turn, you get to what you can only assume to be the shadow room. It is a small building, probably about 10 to 20 feet in each direction, facing you, probably about like 50 feet in front of you, in between all these other buildings. But the wood is made out of that similar grayish wood. It is not painted. It does not have kind of a slanted roof like a lot of the other roofs around you and the buildings around you. It just appears to have a flat roof, and there are no windows. There's no shrubbery outside. It is just this in the middle of this kind of opening in the buildings. There is just a small room that is made out of this grayish wood with a door on the front.
Hmm. I'm thinking I might find some really good magical artifacts here, but I'm starting to, worry that my magic won't carry me. Uh, how does this look from the outside, like based on a perception check? Is there anything like magical that's radiating off the building? Uh, Arcana, occultism, in that regard? Like anything in like my studies that I also like can reflect that.
Make an occultism check for me.
All right.
This is nothing like you've actually ever set your eyes on, but in all of the books that you've read, you've heard of things that are cursed, that have all of the color drained out of them. Like, actually, the actual object itself is drained. It's, these cursed either people or things are described as being completely black and white and gray in appearance to the outer world. So you don't feel any weird voodoo radiation, but the way it looks, this heavily reminds you of something that is cursed.
Alden's ego has steadily deflated as he's walked down this back alley because he's worried about getting stabbed. He's worried about there being a lack of people. And now he sees something that's visibly cursed in front of him. And he's remembering what Amelia said about, like, oh, and her apprehensiveness. But he's still cocky, just a little bit cautious. So I think I'm going to approach the shadow room, look for any sort of door, and and I'm just gonna knock at it with my staff, and basically use my staff as just like a hand. Like, I'm not touching anything with my actual hands.
As you walk up to it and you knock on the door, I'm presuming you would try and knock it with the staff, like, 2 or 3 times, as like a normal knock would be. But as soon as your staff, just in that split second, goes for that second knock, it doesn't connect. It kind of goes a little bit further than you expect, because as soon as the first knock hit, the door slams open inwards. It appears the hinges are on the inside, and so the door kind of just flips open and slams into the wall to the left on the inside of the room, just unnaturally quickly, with a loud crack as the door collides with the wall.
Shit. Oh.
But as the door opens, it looks like a completely dark room within. You can't really see within it.
Well, I have to, pursue the wizarding arts. And, it's a minor curse. I mean, it can't be that bad. So then I cautiously walk in and just kind of like peek my head. I kind of stand in the doorway, like in between outside and inside, and just try to look around the room and see if there's anything really in it. And I say, "Hello, hello."
I have to ask, but are you wearing shoes?
Yeah, I'm wearing sandals.
Okay, then you're fine. As you're standing kind of on this threshold of the doorway, it appears that there's just no light refraction in this room, as the setting sun is behind you and casting your silhouette onto the floor and the back wall of this room. You would expect you to be able to see anything else in this room, but it is just pitch blackness from the left to the right of the light that is streaming in. But on the light that is being shined on things, you just see an empty gray, same gray wood, empty floor below, and a empty wooden back wall. There's absolutely nothing in this room.
And it's just completely empty. Well, this is not a shop, and I turn around and leave.
As you walk away, probably about 20 feet after you walk away, you hear a slam behind you as the door shuts on its own.
Nothing there. No.
Well, as you get back onto the street, the populated streets, it's late in the afternoon, turning into evening as the sun sets. What do you want to do?
Yeah, I do. And I go, well, that was a bummer. I hope this next place is pretty good. And so, Joymates, I head over there, and the main thing I'm looking for there, I'm gonna have to like wait a little longer because it really is like only like the afternoon. But I'm looking for like a bar that would like almost like a college type of bar where like you just assuredly are going to get people that are pissed drunk side of it eventually at night.
If you're looking for a bar, you'd have to ask. But one thing that I did forget to mention earlier is that at the intersection of all of these paths and roads, these major 100-foot roads that you've been on, at the intersection of all of these, there is the same large map that you saw when you first entered, with the same places marked on them, so you can kind of always get your bearings. You don't have to like go all the way back there or memorize it. There's always a map within walking distance from you.
The night is young. I'm going to check out the Joymaid's place. I want to see what that's about.
As you are walking to join mates, it's probably about another mile of a walk. The streets are getting somewhat less busy with carts, but they are getting more filled with people that are either already obviously drunk or are going to be soon. That seems to be just the vibe of this entire place. But as you are walking up, you see a sign that is pointing to Joy Mates. And this sign, kind of like with the Shadow Room, but this sign in particular is painted a bright pink. And then in the words Joy Mates painted in cursive are this light, this very, kind of pastel blue that is pointing into the off of the street a little bit into the buildings. But you don't have to walk very far. You see Joy Mates in front of you. It is this very long building, probably like 300 feet long, like a football field left to your right. Very long, tall building, like 3 stories tall, and the entire thing, it stands out in the background, even kind of this dim evening light, because it is entirely painted this pastel pink with pastel blue outlines on all of the windows and doors. It is the whole front right is just a series of doors and window combos, kind of like a townhome, right? Like townhomes next to each other. It's these doors and windows with, probably like just 100 going down. Not 100, but, many going down kind of the front right of the building. People appear to be coming in and out of these doors every once in a while, periodically. But on the left front, kind of where you are standing, it's where the alleyway of the 2 buildings that you had to walk between kind of leads to. It is large double doors with the words Joy Mates written above it in light blue and fancy cursive letters.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna go in. Wait. Actually, first, I'm gonna kind of, somebody's passing by, I imagine. I'm gonna say, excuse me.
You see a man in simple clothes, scruffy beard, kind of tattered clothes, maybe some holes in it. But he looks to you and says, "Yes, my sir. What would you like?"
Yeah, perfect. Yeah. I'm gonna say, excuse me, sir. Quick question. I'm sorry to bother you. Is this place what I think it is?
But how do you mean, sir?
You know, a brothel?
He seems a little flustered. He says, "Well, if that's what you're looking for, of course, it does. But it's also much more than that. It's whatever gives you joy. It's in the name. So there's games there sometimes, and a bar that me and my buddies like to go to. It's a fun place."
Okay, perfect. All right, awesome. And then I'm sorry again for the bother. Truly, I am. Another question: is there anywhere I can get like really drunk around here? Like I'm talking like piss drunk, and everyone's like that. I'm a wizard, you see, and I'm here to cast. I'm here to test my sobriety spells.
Yes, that's exactly what me and my buddies do here at Joy Mates. We get piss drunk, as you say, and then sometimes we head over to the doors over there, and if you get what I mean.
That that is just splendid. I can. Oh well. Hopefully, I'll see you there then. Perfect. Thank you for the information. My name is Alden the Amazing, by the way, wizard extraordinaire.
Oh, well, I'm Tom. Nice to meet you.
Right. Tom, you better remember the name. Alden the Amazing is gonna be a pit. Yeah, whatever. Anyway, all right. Thank you, Tom. Walk away.
Uh, if you enter the double doors, you find a very dark room, but it's clearly a bar esque. You know, there are tables with some figures that you can't really make out just because it's very dim in here. People are laughing, but it's a decently packed bar. This seems to be a place to be.
Yeah. And I just go to the bar, sit down, and I just kind of I get a pint of beer, and I just kind of start looking around and seeing like, and I'm like awkwardly trying to like get people to look at me, at the bar, kind of like, just kind of like looking over, nodding, like saying hello, like waving, just kind of like raising my glass, uh, just waiting for someone to talk to me, and preferably someone who looks really drunk already.
Well, I will say you stand out as someone dressed like a wizard, like you are in a bar. You haven't really seen anybody dressed like you. So lots of people do return your gaze, look over at you. But as you're kind of sitting for after about like maybe like 20 minutes, you hear these two voices behind you. You hear they're in very like loud whispers, like when someone's kind of drunk and they think they're being quiet, but they're not actually being quiet. It's like this loud whisper voice. Uh, you hear this voice. You say, "Yeah, yeah, it's a fucking wizard. What does it look like?" And then you hear a response, "No, no, no, it can't be, dude." Yeah, yeah, bro, it fucking is. You should talk to him. You should talk to him. No, no, I couldn't. Yeah, yeah, bro. How else are you gonna learn about magic, dude? Your mom's not gonna let you leave the city. No, bro, I couldn't. I don't want to bother him, dude. I don't want to bother him.
No one should fear what they see before their eyes. And I say that without looking over towards them.
As you say this, they're like, oh shit, and like whisper, and then in your peripheral, as you're kind of just looking forward, you see someone kind of gets pushed towards you, to your right behind you, or to your right, and then a little bit behind you. You hear, hello, sir. Are you a wizard by any chance? I'm sorry for bothering you, but what's your name? What's your name?
Alden the Amazing.
Alden the Amazing Man. That is such a cool name. I'm real, and this is Max. He kind of gestures over to the guy he was talking to, and we were both wondering if you could do a spell for us. If it's not too much of a bother, you're a busy man. You're probably here in Riddock for a reason, right?
Kind of spell. What do you have in mind? I know many. And to answer your question, I'm traveling through these lands on an epic quest to collect new grimoires, new artifacts. So, sorry, the beer's talking right now.
Grimoires. Wow, that sounds so cool. But I don't know any spells for you to do. See, I wanna go to those one of those big fancy magic schools to learn spells to be like you.
Oh, no, you don't need to do that. Those are worthless. Nope, don't bother with that shit, those shitholes. I learned everything I knew from practice and patience. Schools, they're worthless. You'll never amount to anything if you go there. Um, and what was the name of the school I went to? Which one was School of Rick, right? Yeah. Especially that shithole, the School of Rick. Fuck that fucking place. Anyway, sorry. Anyway, well, how about this? I myself, and I know a lot of spells, and I have many people coming up to me and asking me, how to learn things. And it takes quite a deal of effort to, teach the common man, so they say. So how about this? I will teach you a spell, and if you're able to guess how I did it, Oh shit, let me rephrase this. For 1 copper, you give me 1 copper. I show you a spell. If you can guess how I did it, I will give you 2 copper back. How's that sound?
Rill kind of leans over to Max and whispers, but not really like again in that same loud whispering. He says, "Dude, 1 fucking copper to see a spell? That's a steal." He leans kind of back over to you. Yeah, that sounds great. I really want to see you. And he hands you 1 copper. And as you're more talking to these 2 individuals, you notice that they are kind of, uh, just these young guys, like, maybe early 20s, these 2 human guys just wearing the simplest of clothes, but obviously kind of, slurring their words, like, not really standing straight or, leaning over and moving a lot like someone does a lot when they're kind of drunk or tipsy. After Rill hands you the 1 copper, he says, "See, my mom doesn't really want me to go to magic school because she says it isn't real. So I would love to see a spell and see some real magic, sir."
I think what she wants to think is, okay, first off, of course it's fucking real. There's magic literally everywhere. Second off, I think what she really wants to do is save money, and I don't blame her. Magic school is expensive. Uh, but those grimoires, those are that's a high end. You have to be in the field for years before you can really decipher one. I'm going to start you off with basic illusionary magic, and it doesn't even need to be daylight outside to learn that one. So we can just stay in here in the dark where it's very hard to see, and I'm sure you'll still learn something great.
Oh, I'm sure of it. I can't wait.
But okay, and then yeah, I was like, great. Well, have a seat and let me show you this. And I literally just play by play. I just restart the same damn trick that I learned that Amelia did. Um, this time in the dark, and I just hand to flush it out and say, pick a card, any card, and then yep, just repeat it, just like the whole thing. So should I do like a games check?
I'll say as you're giving or doing this card trick, give me a games check, but I'll say you get a plus 2 circumstance bonus because it's really dark in here, so all of these fast movements are kind of harder to perceive and look a lot better in the dark.
Okay, +8. I hope I get a one. That'd be really really funny. Okay, I got a yeah 22.
As you do your card trick, it's not as good as when you did it with Amelia. You know this. There's very rare moments you've ever been as good as you were in that moment, but you can tell that this is pretty good. As you're doing the trick, you're looking at their eyes, and they are just dumbfounded by what you're doing with your hands. Like it's you're shuffling and maybe flipping them behind your back. You're just doing all this crazy stuff that they've never seen from anyone else, especially doing any card tricks.
Okay, this time I pretend that instead of like pulling it out from behind his ear, I like spit it out of my mouth, like as if I'm like throwing it up, and I go, huh, 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 and I go, is this your card?
Real is like jaw open. What the fuck? How did it come out of your mouth?
No, no, that's the trick, and that's what I was going to ask you: is how did I do that? That's your first lesson. How did I do that trick?
Real says, you must have used some teleportation magic to put it in your stomach or something. And then Max kind of butts in from beside him. No, it's definitely some card that he had stored in his stomach or something like that, just for this trick or something. It has to be.
That's an excellent guess, Max, but a wizard can't reveal all his secrets. How about this? I'll let you try it again, for another copper, and then I basically, I'm gonna go and I'm sitting here with Max, and then his friend Rail is nearby,
Rill is the one next to you, and Max is beside him on the other side of him.
Okay, well, whichever one I'm not directly teaching the lesson to, I'm gonna talk to that one and say, "Can you? How about you get us some more beers, all right?" And I basically am just trying to one get these two drunker and drunker so I can keep like doing this trick over and over and over again for a copper each time, and just trying to see how many times I can get away with it until they're like, "Oh, fuck this, man! You're not even a real wizard. I'm out of here."
Max kind of looks to Rill uh, for guidance, and Rill once again kind of whispers over, but you can hear it. He says, "Dude, just some beers to learn some magic. This is a fucking steal." And Max goes ahead and gets y'all some beers. Go ahead and do a society check for me to see how many more you can kind of persuade to get out of them.
Society. Ooh, yeah. Okay, I got an 18. Yeah, not bad.
All right. I'll say you convince them to do a couple more. You know, they're still going at this current rate. You can tell that you'll at least get a couple more. So, you know that you can continue to do this trick, and they'll have no idea what is going on. Can you roll a perception check as you're doing more of these tricks? Uh, Kind of tell it to see if you can tell, how they're doing.
Okay, I got a 16.
After about the fourth time that you've shown them the trick, you can tell that they are genuinely stumped. They're still like super invested, like they're talking to each other, like strategizing, and keep saying like, "Dude, we just need to see it one more time, dude. I don't know what this is." But you've gotten 4 copper now.
Okay, yeah, Alden's definitely agreed. Fuck, then he knows that he can wince a little more out of them. I mean, so eventually, like once for like maybe like two more lessons, he's gonna be like, Max, I really should be going here, but you know, basically just kind of like I'd be willing to stick around. However, I would have a higher fee.
I'll say that based off of your checks, you can tell that you could do you could do one more for 3 copper, like guaranteed. You could probably convince them of that. But you could do one for higher values, get more, but you'd need to roll a check to persuade them to pay that.
Ooh, how about okay? I might. Okay, okay. How about I'm thinking. All right, let me just do the 3 copper then, uh, and then I want to see how they react, like at the very last one.
All right, so roll a games check to see how well you do it on this 3 copper one.
This really is just like this is just pure gambling. This is pure. Oh, jeez, that was almost another nat 20. I got a 13.
Yeah, you perform the trick again for them, and they are still super stumped. Max at this point is clearly drunk, being like, dude, fuck this. I have no idea what his spells are just too good, dude. And Rill says, yeah, man, you have some crazy magic. I don't know what you're doing.
I'm gonna say, well, I admire your tenacity. That's the making of a great wizard. And I must be going now. But thank you for your persistence there.
Rill says, no, thank you. You said you were Alden the Amazing?
Something like that, yes.
Well, one day, Alden the Amazing, sir, I hope to be Rill the Thrilling.
I think to myself, it's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. And then I go, it's quite clever. I like that. Yes, one day I'll hopefully see you alongside me in the great wizard annals of history. Uh, but I'll be on my way now. And I leave without paying like whatever I owe. And no, wait, no, I don't do that. Never mind. It's a terrible idea. I leave, and then I don't know. It's later in the night. I imagine more people are kind of getting drunk, and what I'm gonna do is like across the street or like near this what is it, Joymates. I'm just gonna set up like a little rug, and I'm gonna put out a sign that what's going on, like in charcoal, like or however it's written, says like illusionary magic, like 2 copper, tarot reading 3 copper, uh, and just like other like myriads of like street trick like magic stuff, and just from that point on, I don't need to. It's getting late on my end, so I don't need to be super specific with it, but just kind of like see how much I can like make off of like drunk people, because I'll be like basically like lulling them over like friend over here.
I'll say that you set up shop outside of the series of the doors that are kind of on the front right side of Joymates. At this point, that is where the most people are kind of coming in and out of. It seems to be a lot more packed in the past hour that you've been here. But, it is dark outside at this point. The only lights that are coming on are from the windows of, Joymates or, buildings around. So it's very dim and hard to see maybe more than like a couple 100 feet in front of you. I'd like you to roll a society check to see how you do tonight for the next hour or two, convincing people to come over.
Oh, to watch this be like a 2, just absolutely fuck all. That'd be really funny. That'd be really funny to film. Oh my
Literally
god.
predicted the 2.
That's hysterical. Oh my god. Wow. That's, that is amazing. Yeah.
You get a couple of people coming over, and you end up, I'll say, getting like 5 copper over the next hour or so.
Oh my goodness. Ooh, I'm making big bucks. So that's funny. Yeah, eventually I'm just kind of like, oh, it's late even for me. I'm gonna wrap up shop. Um, and then does Joymates have like I don't know rooms to stay in like an inn of some sort?
You'd have to ask. Joymates has places to sleep, but I'd say it seems big enough to have rooms to stay in. It might be expensive though.
Yeah, I want to. I'll. Is there like I don't know? Is there another inn nearby that isn't the Sleepy Inn I can go to? I would just ask somebody on the street. Yeah, just hey, is there a place to rest around here that isn't the Sleepy Inn?
Yeah, you see a young kind of drunk, tipsy guy says, "Yeah, dude, there's one like down that way a few hundred feet."
I'm gonna head there. I'm gonna yeah, I want to head there. See if there's a room available.
I will say that the rooms at this small little inn are 2 copper a night,
Oh, I could stay here for 10 days.
and it's a simple bed and a simple table for you to sleep. And in 2 days' time, you're gonna visit Amelia.
So that's gonna go. I hope like the other group manages to kind of end up in the same area as her, so they just see her doing that.
We'll see what the other group does.
I can't. Yeah, I cannot wait to watch their perspective. It'll be really fun.
It's gonna be good, but I think that is where we're gonna end it. That was a fun session with some crazy rolls, and the beginning of Alden the Amazing Card Trick Empire. It's going pretty well.